anyone who's driven across the northern reaches of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan have undoubtedly driven by a shrine for Frederic Baraga, the Snowshoe Bishop. And if you've driven by it, it's probably piqued your interest and you wanted to know maybe a little bit more about this Frederic Baraga. Well, he was born in Slovenia in 1797, and he was brought up in Slovenia, which was part of the Austrian Empire at the time. And at that point, he was educated in a region that was very politically volatile, because Napoleon's armies were marching back and forth across that area, and the area traded hands several times. So our friend, at that time not a bishop, but actually belonging to a fairly affluent family and sent to fairly good schools, he had to learn many languages. He had to learn German and French and Slovene and Latin and Greek and even Italian. So he learned quite a bit, so many languages, but not only that, but in the course of that, he would learn how to learn languages, how to retain them, and sentence structures and everything. So he was a pretty good linguist. Well, part of his education, as he was going through there, he decided that first that he wanted to become a lawyer. And as a lawyer, he'd gone to the University of Vienna, and there he got his law degree, but then he felt called. And he felt called to the church. And the church he felt called to, of course, was the Catholic Church, which is the dominant church at that time in that region. So he went to the seminary at Ljubljana. And while he was there, he caught on to a brand or branch of Catholicism that's called Jansenism. And a Jansenist basically believes in several ideas that kind of spring out of our friend Augustine and are similar to certain ideas that are in the Reformed faith. And some of these ideas include original sin. He believed in human depravity, which means that we all are sinners. He believed in divine grace, and then that's what saves us. And he also believed in predestination. So those ideas were what propelled our friend Baraga forward. So after he had gotten out of school, he had decided that he would respond to a call from the Bishop of Cincinnati. And the Bishop of Cincinnati basically controlled not just Ohio, but Michigan, and even the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. His first assignment was Abre Croce in Michigan, which is now Cross Village. And he was there for a couple of years, and his first book was written there on the Ottawa language. And he was writing epistles in Ottawa. So here's another language. He already knew 6 languages, so he learns another language, Ottawa. He learns English as well, so now he's got 8 languages under his belt. That's, for me, is enough to make him a saint. So he would then go to Wisconsin at La Pointe, and finally, this kind of his first foray up into the UP, or the Upper Peninsula, was at a place called Lance, which is right up here by Houghton and Hancock, and that's where his shrine is. From there, he would travel around and visit all these areas in the diocese so he could bring the Word of God to Catholics who were already in the area, as well as to the Native American tribes that were up there, including the Chippewa. And he would write a book, which was the basis of which it was a grammar of the Ottawa or the Chippewa language. And then eventually he would be made the bishop of this whole region of the Upper Peninsula. His first episcopal seat was in Sault Ste. Marie, and that eventually would be moved to Marquette. So Now you know why he was called the Snowshoe Bishop, because he would travel around that area with snowshoes on his feet, often staying out overnight underneath a tree or whatever, without a roof over his head, and bringing the word of God to the people. A lot of legends sprang up about Baraga. One goes that he was traveling from one place to another on the shores of Lake Superior, and they were traveling across a bay, across some ice, and some of that pack ice got loose, and he and a companion were blown out to sea, out on the lake. And as this was happening, the companion got quite afraid, and Baraga said, we should have faith in God, that God is going to save us. And the wind blew them 60 miles that day, and they reached shore near the place that was of their destination. And Baraga pointed out that they had gone so much farther than they possibly could have gone on their own with God's help. Well, Bishop Baraga is honored today in many places for many things. He actually has a county named after him up near Houghton. He's got Catholic schools named for him, a seminary named for him. He was buried at the cathedral in Marquette. Of course, there's this roadside shrine where this picture of Baraga, or not picture, but this statue of Baraga is now located. And what it is it's the bishop holding snowshoes with a cross in his hand, and these are meant to these wooden beams are meant to represent his influence in the various Native American tribes in the region. He's remembered for his earnestness and especially for his scholarship, having written that grammar of the Chippewa language and also the epistles and gospels. He wrote a commentary for in the Ottawan language. Amazing, amazing scholarship. So here's a couple of the sources where I got my information, some of the artwork, and some of the pictures I took myself. And finally, thank you for watching. These are photographs of Baraga in later life and a bust of Baraga. This one was actually taken by Brady, who most of you who know anything about Civil War and the history of the Civil War and photography know about Brady. So, very interesting character, this Baraga. And if you travel through the UP, be sure to stop by the shrine for Bishop Baraga. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. God bless and have a good day.